Hello everybody and welcome to the Blue Otter League Gold Division round of 16. Today, our matchup will be Mythical Esports Hydra versus TE Genesis. I am Quax, your play-by-play caster for tonight, and joining me, you all know his name, you all know who it is, it's the Bully. How are you doing today, Bully?
I'm pretty tired, but at least, maybe this series doesn't go to 5 games, but maybe they will.
Yeah, for sure, and it looks like both teams, they definitely have earned their spot to be here. Just looking at the scores here from their records real quick, both teams have impressive showings on both sides, and both have definitely proven their worth and deserve to be here. So do you have any predictions for how this series will go, Bully?
I mean, it's hard to tell because, both these teams never faced each other before. They were both in different divisions, but, Mythical Esports Hydra, they did end the season with a very strong 6-1 record. And T Genesis, they had some great upsets. I think last week they beat Goblins, who ended as a second seed in Demacia. So I think T Genesis is actually on the upswing, while Mythical Esports it was just always a solid team this entire season.
Yeah, for sure. And I do also think it is worth noting that this patch, at least this series, we are going to have 13.8B live. So that means Lilia buffs have come through, Kha'Zix buffs have come through, Jarvan nerfs have also come through. So do you think that we'll see any sort of impact on today's drafts based on how the patch has, affected the game?
You know, I'm gonna assume a lot of these players don't even check patch notes before they play. But especially I would say in like gold,
Hmm.
plat, below, a lot of the comfort picks just reign supreme. Yes, a champion might get nerfed, but you never see a lot of straight up just teams picking just straight meta. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah, for sure. And I also think that that is kind of going to be the case with Mythical Esports Hydra, specifically Enders. Just looking at the player really quickly, likes to play a lot of hyper carry ADCs that aren't necessarily considered meta, at least not by, pro scene standards. Things like Vayne, things like Kaisa, these are champions that aren't really played in pro, but he's had some impressive showings on both of them, had some impressive games on both of them. At least in solo queue and also in competitive. So, do you think we're going to see Mythical Esports Hydra and TE at Genesis? Do you think that both these teams are going to, play to their strengths? And how do you think that's going to sort of clash?
whew, it's tough to tell. But my big thing in this game is that in any best of 5 series, first game is going to be extremely important because that sets the
Hmm.
tone of how the series is going to run. That's why you're going to see a lot of, possibly 3-0s. If it's not going to be 3-0, and if a team wins the second or third game, and that's why you can see reverse sweeps because then teams kind of understand each other's game plan. If a team wins the first one, then they have a couple mistakes to make, a couple drafts that they could just falter. But if they lose the first game and their mistakes are just, you know, their big picks are going to be banned away and they can't really find a new solution to their game plan, then that's where they falter.
Yeah, for sure. And you say that, and the draft has officially started here for game one of round of 16 for the Blue Otter League Gold Division. And right out of the gate, we have Olaf, Yasuo, Sivir, Cho'Gath, Lulu, Zeri. So both teams firing away bans here right out of the gate. We can see TE have opted to ban away the comfort picks in the bot lane, obviously getting that Zeri out of the way, a very hyper scaling champion, and that Lulu who can accompany any sort of hyper carry champions that might be left here. But we can see instant Vi pick here, B1 Vi from Hydra right out of the gate, a very unconventional pick, and it looks like TE are looking to respond with an immediate Jarvan pick. So looks like both teams trying to get those junglers out of the way as soon as possible.
Well, there you go with your Jarvan.
Yeah, yeah, I guess. And it looks like the second pick will be a. It's pausing for a while here, but I guess I kind of, while that pick is going through, I guess it is worth talking about that both of these junglers, and both of the players for that matter, JJ and Ranor, both really
Fortune.
enjoy picking those engaged junglers. The Wukong is obviously a strong suit that both of them enjoy playing, but Vi and Jarvan very focused on getting into that backline. So how do you think that's going to affect the rest of the draft?
Well, you definitely are scared. Like right now, we see the Misfortune pick for T Genesis, so you're gonna
Hmm.
try to see the Jarvan lock down 3, 4 members of the enemy Hydra squad, and Misfortune just use the bold time to just wipe them all out. But encounter that Nautilus Samira, so heavy, heavy go in
Hmm.
possibilities for Hydra. Samira doesn't need peel as she'll be right in the mix of everybody with that ultimate.
Yup, and it looks like we are going to see an Alistar lock in here for TE Genesis as they round out the first phase of the draft here, and we will be going back into band shortly. But yeah, you kind of hit the nail on the head there with that Samira Nautilus. It's apparent that both of these bot laners are really focused on going in. Not necessarily, I feel like one does it better than the other. Hydra definitely has more go buttons, with the Nautilus, and Samira as a champion likes to go in a lot more, but Alistar too, not only can he engage, but he can also peel. So I feel like you kind of have that double. I feel like you kind of have that flexibility when wanting to choose if you want to go in or sort of disengage a fight, because it's very clear that Hydra's bot lane is very much so the playstyle of just go in and try to kill the bot lane.
Yeah, I mean, Alistar did get slightly buffed, right? So
Hmm.
like 1.5 seconds extra on the ultimate. One thing that does worry me is if you're playing the Alistar, you're playing the Jarvan. There's a chance that both these champions just try to engage. If that happens, who's gonna appeal to Misfortune? You're gonna have to be dealing with the Vi, the Nautilus, the Samira just jumping into the backline. If you're Misfortune, you're not gonna have a lot of ways to like peel for yourself if one of these champions jump on you.
Yup, and we can see that top lane pick going in for TE Esports as they lock in the Dr. Mundo here. So it seems like TE are going for sort of a protect the puppy type comp here, just, based off of what they've picked so far. Obviously, mid lane hasn't been picked yet, but Misfortune, very apparent that she is the only damage dealer that this comp has. But on the other side of things, Hydra, you can see a very front to back meatball heavy comp sort of developing here for their team in this blue side. The Nar combined with that Vi, combined now with the Aurelian Soul Comet, can make for an absolutely nasty team fight. TE Esports, they have to, TE, they have to be ridiculously careful of the wombo combo that Hydra can pull off in this game.
Yeah, definitely very, very lethal. I'm interested to see what this last pick is going to be. This is going to be the counter from mid. What they decide to pick here obviously has to be a big damage deal, and it'll be the Silas going to be taken for Genesis. Oh, nope.
Ooh, oh,
Yep,
nope.
there you go.
Oh, yep. Yep, it looks like the Silas is going to conclude the draft here for game one. And just looking at the ultimates for Hydra, some of the ultimates are good and some of them aren't. Obviously, things like the Samira, Silas can't really take that and use it to full effectiveness. But obviously, you have that Nar, you have that Assault and Battery, and I think that those are the ultimates that he's definitely going to be gunning for throughout this entire game, and should really help to get that damage off and make sure that there is a threat on the backline of Hydra.
Yeah, it does worry me though. If this Silas falls behind and Misfortune is like the only champion that's going to be like the main source of damage for this Genesis team, then that is a very easy way to play the game if you're a Hydra. You just need to throw all your ultimates in that ADC, and it's very easy to do when it's point and click.
Yeah, and it is also very apparent that TE Genesis, that Misfortune, is immobile. Misfortune obviously has no escapes, no dashes, so if the burst from Hydra can come through in time, even something like an Aurelian Soul, Comet comes through, then that could spell doom for this Misfortune. Caught out by one CC ability, and you're pretty much dead. So a lot of pressure here on the bot lane of TE Genesis to perform here in this game.
Yeah, it's quite a bit of damage coming out from Hydra, while Genesis has a little bit more tankiness to their team comp. So it's going to be the clash between, heavy damage versus heavy tank.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess we're going to have to see which one comes out on top in this game. And I'm curious to hear that as well. So I think we are going to go to a small break here before we go into the game, while we wait for the players to load and while we wait for the scenes to change. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more League of Legends. See you soon. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Blue Otter League Gold Division here. We are in Game 1 between Mythical Esports Hydra and TE Genesis as both teams suit up to get onto the Rift. It looks like they have gone for different level 1s here, with TE Genesis opting to stay in that bush, maybe anticipating an invade from Mythical Esports Hydra, but it looks like Hydra are content with just sitting back and relaxing, getting a sort of 5-point defense on for themselves and dropping a ward there in that top lane.
And it looks like we're going to see the mid laner Silas opting to go for a Conqueror. We've seen a lot of variations of what keystones they could take. Dark Harvest has been one that a lot of people have been taking nowadays, and just going for like that Night Harvester one-shot build.
Yup, for sure. We can see that, not necessarily in this game, but I definitely think it is a build to consider maybe later on in this series if the teams wish to adapt. And we can see Ranor actually opting to start leashless here on this top side, hiding where he is going to be starting. And meanwhile, we can see Righteous there in that top lane. So both junglers opting to start topside, and the only difference really is one is leashed and the other one is leashless.
Yeah, but bot lane, we didn't see them try to fake leash it at any point. So both bot laners were just showed up right off the bat, so they can kind of expect that this might have been both a top side start for both junglers.
Yep, and I bet both teams are sort of anticipating that topside start, as we talked about in that champ select. Both of these bot lanes, they want to go in, they want to get fed, and we also mentioned that TE Genesis, really their only reliable source of ranged damage is going to be Aquarat on that Misfortune, and so getting it ahead is probably going to be priority number one here in this early game, and I think they've drafted enough champions to make that a reality if they play it well.
Yeah, I mean, I will say Jarvan and Mundo can still do a ton of damage, but oh look, get that level 2 in the mid lane.
Yeah, we have the chains landing, the damage is coming through, but that flag and drag missed, so no kill on the side of TE Genesis, and Righteous revealing himself very early on here. They know he's going to that bot lane, and Ranor has that red buff now, and he looks like he's going for a bot lane gank potentially here, but staggering a little bit, maybe waiting for the waves to crash here, as nothing happening here in the bot lane, and Ranor just going to go back to that jungle, hit that plant, but yeah, nothing to develop there, but no sums burned either.
The Tribush is boarded, so even if a gank attempt was going to be made, they would have been seen right off the bat, so it was probably going to fail. In the mid lane, Molly was able to keep the flash with that level 2 Jarvan gank, and was actually able to trade pretty well, thanks a lot to the turret itself, so nothing lost and nothing really gained.
Yeah, for sure, and we can see both junglers are on that bot lane, on that bot side still, but the priority for TE Genesis is winning out here in this game, so that should just be a free scuttle crab for Righteous, and we can see Ranor really trying to make this bot gank work, really trying to get in there, but yeah, he's not seen by vision. Oh, okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I mean, Arsenal and Enders kind of just ran up, and it was so obvious. But
yep, and we can see the headbutt coming through. The ADC is in trouble. Enders forced to flash away, forced to use the cleanse. He will get away, but he is low, as the side of TE Genesis looking for more, but will not find it as a flash through. Pulling it from Aquarat, gets the first blood. Enders taken down here. Another headbutt into a pulverize will be followed up. Flash is coming in from the Nautilus, but will not be able to find anything. Righteous running for his life. The Aurelion Soul has arrived. The Star Dragon is here. Flag and drag canceled by the Nautilus, as Righteous is dead. No flash, no nothing, and that is a kill for the side of Hydra.
Man, that was
he's in the bot lane. Yeah, that's JJ. He's in trouble. He will be killed, and that's a solo kill. Paris in the top lane.
Yeah, it's a solo bolo. You see the Gnar just able to beat JJ up early on as his Mundo, but great roam by Molly, but Molly taking quite a bit of damage. That was a little bit of payback for that gank in the middle lane at level 2 from the Jarvan. So a lot of things happened, but in the end, it was Aquarat that got the first blood, and then we saw Molly get the kill from the mid lane on that roam. So still an advantage in gold in the bot lane for Aquarat, and that's where you need to see the gold go to.
Yeah, exactly, and we can see that advantage coming into light here as he managed to pick up a serrated Dirk followed by a tier, and we can see the Samira Enders only picking up a Vampiric Scepter, so damage for lifesteal here in this bot lane, but I would probably take damage any day of the week, and I bet Aquarat is really happy with getting that kill.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, and we can see an
Nice, taking a lot
engage
of
coming
damage.
in here from the Sylas. Molly forced to flash away. The Sylas dealing a lot of damage with just the Doran's Ring. Mollywops taken pretty aback by that damage. He probably wasn't expecting that Sylas with that Kingslayer to deal so much, as yeah, the bot laners just sort of relaxing here. The top laners, I mean, not the top laners, the junglers sort of just ignoring that bot lane at the current moment. But Righteous, we can see him looking for something onto Paris. This Nard doesn't have flash, but he does have 6, and JJ looking to bait him. He just needs to take one step further as the Flag and Drag comes through. Paris runs away, manages to jump out, and a cleaver will be all that is left on the side of Paris, as not forced to do anything too crazy. Won't take down, but this might be the end of the Sylas. He is hit by the Q, forced to drop the Meteor, but it will not find anyone as Mollywops. He will burn him down, and that is a kill for the Aurelion Soul.
Yeah, and it was a good bait because obviously every time Mollywops was using the Breath of Light, because would always try to use the abscond and to abduct because it's a very easy combo to make. While Mollywops is basically stagnant for 3 seconds, but that time we saw Raynor just in the area ready to basically get the free gank off.
Yup, and we can see that Hydra are using the Sylas's death to their advantage, making sure that they can pick up that early Ocean Dragon. And we talked about it a bit in the Champ Select, but both of these teams have a very clear late game win con here in this game, and so getting those early dragons, a huge advantage for the side of Hydra.
Yeah, in the bot lane, even though it went kind of south early on for both Enders and Arsenal, they are up in CS.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Ender's up a little bit of CS there as Aquarat is falling behind, but the Flag and Drag from behind the turret! Paris is down and he is dead! Another kill coming over for TE Genesis.
The Blunt Force Trauma, just get the blood, a revenge kill for JJ. So, and even though Paris was, range into a melee, we see the CS lead just keep growing. It's almost 20, it's 19 CS up for JJ.
Yeah, that is absolutely insane. JJ managing to find that CS in what a lot of top laners would consider to be a very pesky matchup as the chains land. Mollywops might be in trouble here, and the blast finishes him off. A shutdown for Kazuha Nakamura. I hope I pronounced that name right. They were teasing me in the general chat for not, probably not being able to pronounce it right, so who knows? They'll probably watch the replay and can correct me.
But yeah, that was a lot of damage. You can see how much damage one combo from Sylas does, and that's also a shutdown. So an extra 150 gold going to their pocket, and that's someone you don't want to face in the side lane. So if they're able to get a little bit more gold to their and a little bit more head, they could go to a side lane. They could play like a 1-3-1. We saw how much damage JJ could do and hold them like their own against Paris. Who's gonna match the Sylas in the side lane?
Yeah, for sure. That is the question. As we can see, Righteous spotted out on a couple of wards here. Arsenal has roamed up, but it looks like the Jarvan will be able to get out in time with, nothing more than just being seen, as he will continue clearing in that jungle. And we can see Ranor crossing that mid lane on vision. He will be, or maybe he won't. He might have been seen, but he'll just be taking the reset here. As we can see both teams just sort of biding their time here. Paris going in for a little bit of a trade, but yeah, he will be hit by that Grasp of the Undying proc by JJ, and it looks like these top laners just sort of trading poke with each other. Cleaver for Boomerang in this.
Yeah, and honestly, it looks like Paris is trying to. Oh.
Whoa, hold on. The Vi ultimate stolen by the Sylas is going in. Mollywops taking a lot of damage, but the Sylas will not be able to find the last bit of HP. Arsenal going to hook him up, going to hit him a little bit, but I don't think he win this as the ultimate comes through. The Ignite is procced. Paris is in the fight, but he is too late. Nothing will come of it as Kazuya Nakamura will just walk away, laughing and chilling as his mid laner almost died. But it looks like Hydra are looking to turn that into a fight, but the Genesis is anticipating this, and you can see they're sort of wrapping around that Herald pit, and they might be looking for a fight here as Hydra goes in. That is one alone. Samira as just a pick off from Genesis secures it. The flash coming in. Jarvan manages to get the Herald as now Hydra are running for their lives. Gnar is taken very low, but the Fury is almost up there, but he will not be able to find it. Paris taken down as now the Nautilus forced to run away. Flag and Drag will secure the distance. Headbutt into Pulverize will find the Nautilus. Forced to flash away under the tower. Will be able to probably get away as JJ throws out another cleaver for good measure, and Arsenal is the only survivor here in that exchange.
And the big thing is, the entire time, Aquarat was able to CS bot lane, and their team won anyway.
Arsenal might be in trouble here. Herald has been dropped. Turret has been dove, and Righteous manages to find yet another kill as Ranor going in there manages to get the assault and battery, but might not be enough. Goes over the wall. Aquarat just poking him down, following with the flash, and that's a kill for Aquarat. Now 2-0 here on this misfortune.
Yeah, and that's something you do not want to see if you're a Hydra fan, because bot lane, now you're going to have Aquarat 2-0. Top lane, JJ's up by 31 CS, a kill, and you feel Paris is not very strong in the Gnar anymore. Jungle is going the way of TE Genesis, and mid lane, you can see Kazuha doing so much damage to himself.
Kazuha going in with that Gnar shove, but nothing will find of it. Doesn't manage to get the stone, but Paris wants this fight. He's in the middle of a gigantic mid wave, but he is mega here as it looks like that fight is just going to not happen. It looks like no one is going to die as direct to camera will rather focus on bot lane.
Yeah, and looks like they kind of swapped mid lane, but look who's...
but as I say that, it looks like... Paris going in, the Ignite manages to go down, and Paris is dead once again. Kazuya Nakamura, an absolute monster on this Silas so far. 3-1, Rod of Ages completed, and that is one fed Chainbreaker as he might be taken down here. The Kingslayer goes in, he gains a little bit of health, but that's a shutdown for Ranor, as now he might be in trouble. The Cataclysm comes through. Mollywops is caught into the middle as Illicit Raven manages to get the autos, manages to get the damage, and Righteous manages to get the kill as now Enders and Arsenal might be in trouble. Enders is the target. Flag and Drag tries to cover the distance, but he will be able to get away. Manages to get onto the minions with that E, and no other kills coming through, but Genesis looking for this dragon now.
Yeah, Genesis is taking commanding lead here, and a big part of that, it feels like Hydra is just going super aggressive constantly. They're not sitting back. They're not taking a little more time to think about these kind of plays, and the top lane CS gap is still expanding quite a bit, and one thing you don't want to do is keep giving kills to these champions that are going to become mega tanks, and the Bruisers are going to do a lot of damage still against their very squishy team comp.
Yeah, for sure. And I want to take a quick moment to talk about this Silas build. There's been a lot of debate on, the usefulness of Rod of Ages for some champions. So do you think Rod of Ages is the correct call here in this game?
Well, I mean, Rod of Ages, especially with the Conqueror, is perfectly fine. I wouldn't expect a Night Harvest to be built with the Conqueror. So yeah, they have so many kills that they were able to get it quite quickly. And eventually, they're going to become a force to be reckoned with in the side lane. So I think being that 1-3-1 kind of comp will work in their favor.
Yeah, for sure. And Mollywops forced to do the flash there as Righteous was looking for a kill with that flag and drag. So the Star Dragon once again does not have his tools. He has to be careful. Kazuha is already doing a lot of damage on their own, and so it's very, very dangerous for Mollywops to even walk up past the middle of the lane here as, yeah, in the top lane here, we can just see that JJ is getting poke after poke with that blunt force trauma and with those cleavers. Paris trying to dodge it now, but that heartsteel has been completed by JJ. Paris definitely taking the losing end of a lot of these trades on this Gnar, and like you said, the CS difference continues to grow.
Yeah, and JJ's gonna be actually looked to go super aggressive here.
JJ looking for a little bit of damage. Paris forced to back off. He's no longer mega here. Doesn't have access to that shove, but Ranor is here in the top lane. JJ does not have that ultimate, it looks like, here for this fight, so he could be in jeopardy here if he isn't careful, as those denting blows can deal a lot of damage, shredding the armor as Looks like Kazuha looking for a little bit of damage, but the Sky's Descent has been activated now as Ranor will be seen by the ward. JJ backing away, but Ranor looking for a little bit more as Kazuha looking for more as well as Tang on Righteous is the one who's going to find something as the bot lane gets a little scrappy. Enders gets the ultimate off, but it will not matter. Aquarat managing to find his third kill of the game, but here in the mid lane, the flash Q from Ranor manages to find Kazuha, but he will be taken down with Mollywops securing the kill. Kills across the board for both teams. It's looking like it might be a bit of a late game angle.
Yeah, and that's what feels bad for Enders because they got exhausted, and I think without that exhaust, Uncle Rat would have died to the Inferno Trigger. So, very close, but another kill going to Aquaret. They've completed their Ghost Blade. They're super close to completing their next item, while right now Enders is sitting on just their shield bow.
Yeah, Ender's a little bit behind here in this bot lane as the CS difference isn't really the thing that sets them apart. It's more so the fact that Aquarat has those 3 kills in inventory, and not only that, but you know that Youmuu's Ghostblade not being a mythic item, able to gives him the ability to get that item faster as it is cheaper. And so, yeah, Aquarat taking a commanding presence here in this bot lane as Kazuha might be looking for something that Chain manages to land. That's a lot of damage, and Mollywops forced to run away, or rather fly away with his tail between his legs, quite literally.
Yeah, unfortunately, Molly was not was trying to just clear the wave, and it's so easy to land that combo, but now bot lane's under siege. It looks like Hydra will be able to get this bot lane tier 1 turret, while we see Illicit Raven just roaming the map, looking for anybody to basically goon squad.
Yeah, for sure. And we can see Righteous has summoned the Rift Herald here, and it looks like it's going to go mid lane as a little bit of trading here in the top lane. The ultimate from the Gnar comes in, and Righteous looking to do the same thing twice and go in for the dive as Righteous looking to not be the one to juggle tower aggro, waiting for JJ to go in. JJ manages to find the clear flash from Paris, but it will not matter as a flash to follow from JJ. But on the other side of things, in the river, we have a fight here as it looks like Mollywops might be taken down, but no, it's actually Kazuha who's going to be the death in that fight as Silas, the one to be taken down, taking a lot of damage in the middle of that team fight, and pays for it with his life as this dragon, the Mountain Drake, now being spawned here, and it looks like Hydra might be in a position to take it.
Yeah, and this time Aquaret was still at bot lane, but it went well for Hydra at this point. They got priority over the mid lane, they get the turret, and they'll have priority over this dragon pit. JJ does have TP, so I wouldn't be careful if you're Hydra, because this could be a fight worth taking.
Yeah, for sure, and we can see Paris, just like you said with JJ, he does have that TP available, so we could see a pretty scrappy team fight here as Righteous is in the area. He sees the rest of them, but he is seen by the rest of them as
TP's
looking
coming out
to
for
go
JJ.
in. Righteous TP
Paris.
from Paris there, as it looks like Righteous will secure the dragon. Bullet time coming through onto 2, but it might not matter here as Paris has the mega, but it looks like Ranor will be the target, and he will be dead. Kills coming across the board, a double kill for JJ as Paris sent running there, a triple kill for JJ, and that is one fed doctor.
Yeah, and getting those kills early on definitely expedited the tankiness that JJ has with that Heartsteel doing so much damage. You get the dragon, but you lost so much for that. You lose your mid lane, you lost 4 members, and now your tier 2 mid lane turret's under siege.
Yeah, for sure. And no, it looks like TE Genesis were the ones to take the dragon. So across the board, it looks like they did win that fight.
Wow.
Yeah, Righteous managed to secure that dragon. So they got the dragon, they got 4 kills, and they managed to get the mid turret. And it looks like Genesis just dominating this game, going across the map, and it's heralded by the presence of Righteous being everywhere all at once as a flash from Aquarat. It looks like Mollywops is looking for any sort of kill as he does drop the star, but will not be able to find anything as Mollywops taken very low yet again. This Aurelian Soul having trouble finding any sort of avenues into this game.
Yeah, it looks like Righteous has Rainer's number because earlier on in this game, Righteous did steal the Herald, and then now stealing the dragon. Oh wait, actually, it looks like the dragon did get taken by Rainer, was it? Let's see.
TE Genesis got it.
T-Genesis. Okay.
Because it was a mountain.
Yeah. But so far,
Yeah.
very solid game from the entire team of T-Genesis. And this is definitely a team that we not see at the very beginning of the season.
Whoa,
And,
Righteous going in here. Enders might be, Ranor rather, might be in trouble as the ultimate from the Vi to the Silas does come in. Bullet time will be dropped, but Enders manages to get his ultimate down, and it will do absolutely no damage as Paris is soon to fall, and a double kill for the Alistar of all champions. And it looks like, yet again, 4 kills for TE Genesis. Aurelion Sol the only one left standing, and what soon will be to fall is this Baron Nashor.
Yeah, and at the same time, bot lane tier 2 is going down. It feels like the entire map.
Whoa, what are you doing? Mollywops just goes in and gets taken down. What are you doing, Mr. Mollywops? Another kill, and Baron secured for TE Genesis. They're looking to close this game out. They have a ton of advantages and a ton more damage, and they're looking strong in this game.
Yeah, definitely if you're Hydra, you have the Samira, you have the Aurelion Sol, but, you know, just bleeding out like this will not let you get to the late game where the Aurelion Sol will really shine, where the Samira will really shine. So it's going to be very hard for them to make it back in this game. They will now have to look for picks after picks. They can't take a straight even a 5v4 fight, or they will lose.
Nope. Yeah, for sure. And we can see the strength of TE Genesis. Like you just said, they can't even take a 4v5 fight here in this game as, yeah, Mollywops never seems to be at the right place at the right time. Never able to enter into those fights. And every single time it seems to be on our screen, just seems to get bursted down every single time. But does have access to the Sky's Descend, a very powerful ultimate ability by the newly reworked Aurelion Sol. So maybe we could see something from Hydra to turn this around.
Yeah, but you have to make a play, and that play is to get these shutdowns off these massive, massive champions. You know, how are you going to kill this Dr. Mundo right now?
Yeah, and it looks like the dredge line will come through on Kazuha Nakamura as he is sent running here the side of Hydra, looking for a pick, as 4 of them are here in the top lane, but they are, you know, forced in to other lanes as we can see the waves from that mid and bot lane being pushed in. Baron empowered minions now threaten to take down the base of Hydra, so they need to be careful where they allocate their resources here as this dragon is about 40 seconds away from spawning. TE Genesis looking in control of this game, and Hydra are seeming desperate at this point.
Yeah, oh, that's so much damage on the Paris right there.
Oh, Righteous going for the flash flag and drag. Arsenal in the Cataclysm, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, and Arsenal will be taken down as JJ in the face of 3. He's not scared. He's Dr. Mundo, and Mundo goes where he pleases, as it looks like TE Genesis are going to follow suit. They're going to go where they please as the flag and drag comes through, misses, but it looks like it won't matter. Ignite will be ticking down as Paris forced to run away at 1 HP, but they're under the tower. Ranor almost taken out. The flag and drag over the wall, and it looks like Ranor will be taken down, followed up by Enders, and then followed up by Mollywops. And TE Genesis, they find 4 targets, and they are looking for the base here and potentially the end.
Yeah, and that was a great split of what TE Genesis accomplished. They were able to basically draw everyone to JJ, but then, you know, Hydra just was like, how do we kill this man? And then they got caught underneath their own tower.
Flag and drag comes through. Paris has no time to react. He will be taken down. Arsenal forced to run away, but he will not get away as the 7-1-5 Mundo bashes him in, and it looks like the base is next. A TP coming in from JJ to secure the game, and TE Genesis, they take game 1 in convincing fashion.
Yeah, that game just went from like 0 to 100 just like that, and it all came from just sloppy, like, it's just like forced plays from minute like 7. I kind of wish Hydra kind of slowed it down, CS, look for the plays they wanted, but instead they kept on going one by one, looking for kind of, it looked like desperation plays early on, which was not necessary.
Yeah, the overaggression from Hydra was really punished in that game, and the cost of it will be that game one, as TE Genesis managed to find that game, and they looked really good in that game all around. It just looked like lane gap after lane gap, and I do kind of want to point out the player that I thought did really good in that game. Ranor, all across the map, all over the place, objective after objective, managed to find pick after pick and really set his lanes up for success. So props to him on that
Wait,
Jarvan.
oh, you're talking about Righteous. I was like, wait a minute.
Oh,
But yeah, I
oh
agree.
yeah, I am. Whoops.
Righteous did extremely well that game, and it
Yeah.
felt like they were at the right place at the right time constantly. And even when, let's say if Aqua Rat was bot lane CSing, it felt like these were calm, collective plays, and they basically assessed the risk of each play, and they were able to
Hmm.
basically take the fights that they know that they could win, and basically just flash got out of any fights that they would lose.
Yeah, for sure. TE Genesis playing that game in a very convincing fashion, doing a lot of things right. And so we'll have to see how Mythical Esports Hydra respond in game two. And so while they focus on what they are going to do for the next game, we are going to take a small little break here. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Blue Otter League Gold Division. See you soon. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the stream. Apologies for the little bit of delay here. League of Legends has been having a little bit of technical difficulties here and there, so teams have been struggling to get in. Riot Games, billion dollar company here. Yes, we all love to make fun of them here. Bully is currently helping out some teams with issues that they might be having across the entire Blue Otter League Gold Division as a whole. So he will be with us in just a little bit here as we hop into game 2 between TE Genesis and Hydra, or Mythical Esports Hydra here, as game 1 looking very TE Genesis favorite here. Bully kind of hit it on the head there near the end of the first game when he said that after 7 minutes, the game just really went down there. Mythical Esports Hydra is just constantly running in, constantly looking for picks, and constantly being in over their head, and eventually it really came back to bite them as TE Genesis really came back in that game, and it was a quick 24-minute win. So if they aren't careful in this next game, it could be just as short of a game, or maybe even shorter. And right out of the gate, we see the Zeri banned away from Hydra yet again, making sure that Enders can't get those hyper scaling hyper carry champions that he enjoys playing, followed up by the Olaf, and eventually the Lulu again. TE looking to sort of run back the same bans, making sure that that bot lane doesn't sit comfortably with the champions they know how to play. Yep, that's going to be the exact same first phase of bans here in game 2, and it looks like Hydra opting to ban away that Silas, making sure that it can't be a threat again, as Kazuha and Nakamura, they did amazing on that Silas, dishing out so much damage, being such a nuisance for that Aurelion Soul, which was never able to quite scale in that game. And we can see the Jarvan pick, the run back from TE here, as they want to pick that up yet again, wants to pick that up yet again for Righteous, as he had a very clean performance on it in game 1. And it looks like Hydra opting to pick that bot lane Jinx Thresh, making sure that they can get the bot lane right out of the gate. And that's one aggressive bot lane. That's a duo that you can never underestimate. Jinx Thresh wants to go very aggressive, which is exactly what Mythical Esports Hydra enjoyed doing on that bot lane. And so we'll have to see how TE respond. And it looks like they're going to lock in these Ziggs here. Obviously, Ziggs can be a flex pick, can go mid or ADC, but that'll most likely go the way of Aquarat and the bot lane here, as a good champion for just sort of poking out, dealing a lot of damage on that bot lane, and getting that AP threat out of the way for TE Esports. So maybe we'll see a mid lane AD pick for them here, as it looks like the Nautilus going to be ran back here rather, here for TE Genesis, making sure that Arsenal, sorry, not Arsenal, Illicit Raven can go back onto those engaged supports that he enjoys so much. And Hydra opting for a Gragas pick here. Actually, Gragas, one of the best champions in the game, able to be a 3-way flex and basically good into all the current, meta matchups for those 3 roles. And so as we roll out onto the second phase of bans, we can see the Lissandra followed by the Yasuo, both teams targeting those mid laners. I'm curious to see if they want to target maybe those top laners as well, because both teams have a little bit of flex potential here, that Ziggs may be able to go mid lane here, and that Gragas able to go in all 3 roles. But it looks like Hydra, instead of going for another mid lane ban, are going to hover that Camille, making sure that that top lane doesn't have that true damage. But no, it looks like they are actually going to go for the Misfortune ban, maybe anticipating that Ziggs to go mid, and most importantly, making sure that Misfortune isn't going to be there in game 2. And so curious to see how TE Genesis are going to respond to that ban. Will they keep going for that mid lane chip away, banning another mid laner, maybe an AD mid laner like Yone, or will they go for maybe something like a top laner jungle ban? And it looks like they are going to ban away the Vi this game, making sure that it can't be ran back like it was in game 1 when it was picked, because that assault and battery definitely is a nuisance to deal with. And it looks like Hydra are going to pick themselves up a jungler in the form of a monkey, the Wukong, being locked in for Hydra here, obviously able to accommodate that for the engage comp that Hydra seem to be drafting for themselves. And on the other side, TE Genesis running back the Dr. Mundo, another champion that was basically the keys to the kingdom for TE Genesis in game one. That Mundo was absolutely insane. JJ really managed to put on a clinic there in the top lane, making sure that Paris really wasn't able to play the game all throughout, just chucking cleavers, and eventually when he got that heart seal, just taking over the game. And it looks like, yeah, my predictions were correct, as TE Genesis opting for the Yone here in the mid lane. So that will be a Ziggs bot lane, a Ziggs APC, and I'm glad that they got that out of the way in order to, get that AP threat, because if we saw that in phase 2, it might have been up to the top laner to pick that AP threat into something like a Mordekaiser, which Hydra can easily ban away. And it looks like Hydra for their last pick are going to pick none other than the Malphite. Easily one of the best champions in the game right now, able to be stupid simple. Basically, all you have to do is click R while getting tanky items, and you do a lot of damage as Malphite, most importantly. So Hydra, yet again, running it back with a much more simple comp than they drafted in game one. And I like to think that they have a lot more damage, although a lot of people ignore it. Wukong, especially if given, maybe 1 to 2 kills here in that early game, can deal a lot of damage with that Black Cleaver and that Divine Sunder, just chipping away at the armor. And TE Genesis have drafted themselves quite a tanky frontline, things like Nautilus, Jarvan, and Mundo. And so if this Wukong is allowed to scale, allowed to even snowball, then it could be very, very dangerous for TE Genesis here in this game. And so Hydra have drafted themselves a very nasty engage comp. While it looks like Tenebris Esports are relying more on, while they do have an engage comp, they definitely have a more lane-centric comp here, obviously, with things like the Yone, things like the Dr. Mundo. Their goal is to, dominate lane, win lane, and eventually when those turrets do break, when those dragons and those heralds eventually do fall, eventually when the Baron spawns, even if it does take that long, then they'll come out as 5, being a squad to be reckoned with, just like they were in this last game. And so Hydra, in this game, they have to be careful not to overextend. They've drafted themselves basically a comp that they had in game one, even though it does have different faces on it. The sort of story and the sort of things that it wants to accomplish are relatively the same. And so Hydra need to be careful about stepping their bounds, overextending when they don't have to, and just giving things away for free. And TE Esports, they need to be careful about their lane phase. They need to make sure that they don't die, and basically do the same thing as Hydra. Just don't overextend, don't stay out too long, don't ego, most importantly. And so we're going to see how both of these teams sort of, respond to each other and how they play out their comps. And we are going to take a quick little break here for game 2 to make sure that the teams can load up and get ready to go onto the Rift. And so we'll see you shortly. Don't go anywhere for game 2 between Mythical Esports Hydra and Tenebris Esports Genesis. We'll see you soon. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the BOL Gold League round of 16 between Hydra and Genesis here. Apologies for the long delay. League was having some more, multi-million, billion-dollar company issues that were kind of out of our control here, and we had to restart the game. But we are finally here now in game 2, and right out of the gate, it looks like TE Genesis is looking for an invade, looking for any sort of thing that they can fish out, but the wards from Hydra will see them and they will be forced to back off.
Yeah, I mean, you have a Nautilus on your team, of course you're gonna look for a hook in the river or something. But a big thing here, we do see the Mundo come out once again for JJ in the top lane. This time met with Paris on this Gragas with first strike.
Yup, that Gragas is a first strike Gragas, so definitely looking to abuse that range advantage that Gragas brings with that barrel and try and get some extra gold here. We saw in the last game how deadly that Mundo can be when given some extra gold ahead, so I actually agree with the decision here to take first strike and just try and get and even out the gold lead that is going to be very difficult here, as Gragas isn't particularly great at getting, that pressure in the lane, is good at, lasting out, sustaining, but not very good when it comes to killing here. And automatically we can see both junglers, again, starting on those top sides, going to that bot lane just like game 1 and just playing around those ADCs. And it looks like in this game, Enders and Arsenal really are pushing that, aggression that they wanted to have in game 1 to a T here in game 2, with Thresh and Jinx being a very lethal bot lane combo. It's probably going to be very imperative, at least for TE Genesis, to make sure that this Jinx gets behind, and for Hydra, it's going to be very imperative that she gets ahead.
Yeah, and a big thing I want to see from Paris in his top side, felt like in the first game, Paris was a little bit too eager to take trades instead of focusing on last hitting, and that's why we saw the CS lead build up. In this game right now is even for Paris, but there is a few more minions for JJ's to CS, so while this first strike might be worth it, not getting the CS or not last hitting CS will be his downfall.
Yeah, for sure. And we can see both teams just sort of relaxing and chilling, getting some, some minions in there. But we can see Ranor on this Wukong is in the bot lane looking for anything. If the bot lane of TE Genesis do step up, he can go in for an engage here. But this is Ziggs Nautilus, and Ziggs doesn't really like to go in, doesn't really like to, go on those trades, especially when you consider the matchup that he is against. So wouldn't expect anything to go here, as we can see Arsenal walking up, lands the flay, looking for the hook, manages to get the hook as Aquarat is in trouble. Forced to use the flash, the ignite is ticking down, but it looks like Enders will pick up first blood, and first blood goes over to Mythical Esports Hydra. But on the other side here, oh, we can see Paris getting in. The flag and drag does connect some damage on to Righteous in return, but it doesn't look like this Gragas is in under any sort of threat here, as a win overall for Mythical Esports Hydra. They got a kill on the bot lane and no return kill there on the top lane. So yeah, good on them.
Yep. In the meantime, it did look like, the top side camps, a few of them were taken by Righteous, but Righteous not able to get something back when the bot lane got, gave up first blood. Fortunately for Aquaret, playing the Ziggs, you're not going to be in any real danger, as you have very long range of CS at a very safe distance.
Oh, hang on here. It looks like the Jarvan is coming in for the regank. The flash has been expelled. The flag and drag will miss as he just belly flops away. A cleaver for good measure, and another gank going through from TE Genesis, not able to pick up the kill on this Gragas. That survivability really coming in through, but it doesn't look like Jarvan is done yet. A flag and drag going in. Doesn't manage to find it and expels the flash. This Jarvan really eager to try and get something on the top side, but not able to pick anything up. As we can see, Raynor is looking for another kill. The blue side is in trouble. This Jarvan is caught up, killed, and destroyed. This Righteous sent to the fountain and punished for his overstay in that top lane.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that was... I don't say that was a desperation play, but that was just greedy. Very, very greedy from Righteous. We commended this gameplay from game 1, but this time it was kind of bad. Because he not only soaked up CS, gave up another kill, basically they wanted to push the wave in. If they wanted to push the wave in, he would just have to stay in lane, push it in, so JJ could reset. But instead, he just came back 3 times, looked for the gank that failed all 3 times.
Yup, and we can see that top lane wave now going in the favor of Paris. He's able to set up, and get a lot of minions here. Like we said in the last game, and JJ doesn't seem to be letting up on this, but he has that CS advantage. JJ has been really good at just collecting those little minions throughout the map on this Mundo, and so the wave in that current state gives Paris a little bit of breathing room, and that int obviously from Righteous gives him even more breathing room. So top lane looking relatively even here, as hang on, the bot lane might not be even. Ranor got lanterned in, and it looks like Akarat is the target. He has nowhere to go, no flash, no nothing, as Ender's given the kill by his teammates, and that is a 2-0 Jinx 6 minutes into this game, and it looks like Mythical Esports Hydra are biting back in game 2.
Yeah, I think this is on totally opposite sides of what happened in game 1. This time, Aquaret's 0-2, while Ender's is 2-0. First Dragon, same thing happened in the first game. Looks like the bot lane who's ahead will secure it, and this game is 180 degrees different than game 1, and Mythical Esports Hydra looks to fight back to even up the series score.
Yup, and that'll be an early Hextech Dragon for the side of Mythical Esports Hydra, like you just said, and they're, picking up those dragons early on, which is exactly what happened in that game 1 and gave TE Genesis, that scaling win con that they eventually used to just blow the game open. And so Mollywops might be in trouble here. Righteous is here. The ultimate from Yone does not connect, as the unstoppable force managed to get him away. And so ultimate for ultimate here on this mid laner, just walking away happy, as Paris taking a little bit of a trade here in the top lane. JJ taken to about half, but this is a Mundo with that ultimate, so wouldn't expect any sort of kill to come through here, as both top laners just gonna walk away.
Yeah, Mollywops with that great unstoppable force to keep them alive.
Whoa, the cast comes through. Paris looking for a little bit more damage than I think he thought he had more damage than he actually did, as Cask wasted, but also JJ forced to use the ult there, as Righteous back in top lane for the 5 billionth time in a row, looking for another kill, as Arsenal here in this mid lane looks for the hook but will not find it, as Righteous shows himself here in the top lane but won't commit to anything yet, not using that flag and drag, as we can see Ranor here in the top lane as well, looking for anything, sort of fishing out. He will find the vision and be able to take that, but JJ is on a reset, so nothing to come of this top lane, as both teams looking for kills, but nothing to be found.
Righteous needs to be a little bit more patient, because the body slam is going to always be there for Paris. He needs to make sure Paris uses it before he goes in, because that's just a free out for Paris every time. Doesn't need to use flash, it's just wastes Righteous's time. And so far, even though Righteous is up 12 CS, his ganks have resulted in 0 kills, while Raynor is now 1-0-2.
Yeah, for sure, and we can see that Herald is being taken by Righteous here. Ranor is in the area, but doesn't have any prio on those side lanes, so this should just be a free Herald for the side of TE Genesis, as they managed to get a small little advantage on this map, as they have been sorely lacking those in this game that has gone on for 9 minutes. It just seems like it's really gone the way of Mythical Esports Hydra, as they've gotten pick after pick, win after win, and they got that dragon, and so good on TE Genesis to, pick up little wins across the map for themselves.
Yep, and right now we're sitting at about an 800 gold lead for Hydra, and even though 3 kills up, it's 800 gold, not a big deficit at all, and one big team fight could completely change the scope of the game.
Yeah, for sure, and we can see Vision just being cleared out on that bot lane, that control ward being taken down here, as we can see Wukong looking for any sort of engage here, and it might be that the Mundo has stepped up a little too far. You can see Gragas baiting him to take a fight, but doesn't look like he's going to. Cask completely misses. JJ sidesteps Paris's Cask, as he's continuing to try and bait. This Wukong has been here forever and is just looking for anything, goes into the next bush looking for a dive potentially, but I think he knows he won't find it, as hang on, Mundo might be forced to step away. We can tell that you can tell that he knows something is up. You can tell he knows this Wukong is in the area as the bot lane having a bit of a war of attrition here. The Q does not land from the Nautilus, but he is caught out by the Flame Chompers. Takes a little bit of damage here. Nautilus taken to about half as an engage. The Cataclysm comes through, but it is flashed out by Arsenal. Arsenal manages to find the Death Sense into the fight, into the box, but doesn't manage to find anything as he's going to stopwatch the Ziggs ultimate as we can see the Malphite. He's on the flank. Will he look for that unstoppable force? I don't think so, as both teams, again, just looking for trades, looking for damage, looking for a way to engage, but just not finding it.
Yeah, and you know, they definitely knew something was up, especially because they're just taking the blue buff. So that was a great call by JJ just to back up. And I told Righteous needs to be a little bit more patient, and Raynor just showed a ton of patience, but a little bit too much at that point.
Yeah, Raynor stayed at that top lane for quite a while now, and so he might be delayed on taking camps, might be delayed on his tempo in this game, as all the lanes just looking to get scrappy. We can see the Herald is being dropped here in the bot lane, but Raynor is in the area, and it really is on him to see if he can defend this. But this is a Herald followed by a Ziggs W, but it doesn't look like it is in range, so no first tower here on the bot lane, as the bot side of TE Genesis just going to walk away happy that they got the turrets, and this dragon now spawning in just a couple of seconds. Both teams probably going to eye it here, as both top laners taken very low, but the ultimate from Nautilus is here, connects, followed by the dredge line, but he is caught in the Flame Chompers, not able to continue that. But on the other side, we have the unstoppable force from the Malphite going in. Baited Seal gets Kazura away from that fight as the Super Mega Death Rocket just taps Illicit Raven a little bit here, as that'll be the first turret there for Aqua Rat, but a little bit of engage coming in from here. Righteous gets engaged on flags and dregs, gets a little bit of the kills, manages to pick it up. Righteous, how are you still alive? Finally gets taken down by Arsenal, but a return kill from Aqua Rat, getting himself back into this game, and a 2-for-1 here for TE Genesis.
Yeah, with the first turn in the bot lane and a couple kills, we now see Hydra or Genesis actually take the lead on this one. So 1.3k gold, a lot of gold going over to that Ziggs. This Ziggs is now sitting at 4.7k total gold.
Whoa, JJ flash body slams going in for a little bit of a trade, but JJ manages to pop the ultimate in time, and Paris, again, doesn't have the damage to finish off this Mundo. He keeps looking for these opportunities, keeps looking for these avenues to potentially go in and get a solo kill onto JJ, but just not able to find it. This Mundo is really tanky.
Yeah, and looks like this next dragon, the Ocean Dragon, is on the table for both teams. Control board is placed. A little bit of vision will be taken out in the area, and Righteous actually goes over the
wall. TE Genesis have control of the pit here, as Hydra forced to back away. The vision is there. You can see that vision hugging the wall, but it might not be enough. You can see Enders looking for it. Yeah, it's the Super Mega Death Rocket steal. The Jinx Classic hits TE Genesis.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate for Genesis, as they had total control. Molly had to go back because they had barely any mana left, so that was basically free. Just someone had to block it, and unfortunately no one did. So 2 dragons for Hydra, and they're going to be looking for that soul later in the game.
Yeah, Hydra have definitely secured themselves a late game win con here in this game, as a little bit of scrap coming here from the top lane. Paris taken a little bit low. Cleaver connects. Blunt Force Trauma manages to find Paris in the face along with that grass proc. So yeah, Paris taken to about a half, but this is really where Gragas starts to shine that sustain, but he might not be able to sustain enough. But Ender's taken a little bit low here, as mid lane is the target for a fight, as Arsenal going in, Ranor going in, but Illicit Raven manages to find the dredge line, and Ranor might be in trouble, flayed into the hook. Illicit Raven forced to flash away, but Ender's taken super low. The Q connects, but no further damage. The unstoppable force gets flashed away by Aqua Rat, and so no kills coming the way. The flag and drag coming in from Righteous. The Super Mega Death Rocket is gonna hit him a little bit for his overpunish, but both these teams are getting antsy. They want blood, they want kills, but they just cannot find it.
Yeah, super close from both sides. You know, both teams were looking for blood at that in that fight, but at the end of the day, no one goes down, and everyone decides, okay, I had enough. I'm gonna reset. We could try again later.
Yeah, for sure. And we can see that both teams taking a reset here, but Righteous has decided to stay on the map. He is opting to take that Herald there on the top side. This will be the second Herald that TE Genesis secure for themselves. And, you know, we've said it a million times, but Hydra, they've secured themselves sort of that late game threat, that late game win con. If another dragon from them gets taken, they get that soul. And so I like TE Genesis trying to take charge here and get that Herald to just try and get, you know, any sort of advantage they can, because they're looking to get scrappy, and Heralds, they certainly can prove a fight to be worth it.
Yeah, a big thing for Genesis though, they do have that Ziggs, and whenever you try to take a dragon, or when you try to like take you're just gonna or take another neutral objective, you're gonna get poked down by these Ziggs bombs. So you got to be very careful of when you take these neutral objectives, or you could just end up losing a fight before it even starts.
Yup, and we can see that Righteous giving Aquarat that blue buff, as the Ziggs will be able to get the benefits that come with it as he is going into the mid lane. And it looks like both teams just looking to get any sort of pressure here on either lane, as JJ looking for a little bit of an engage onto Paris. And Paris has been taking quite the damage this game as the cast comes in. He's knocked into the turret, but will not take the aggro. Flag and Dread comes in, Cataclysm to follow, and Paris just gets blown up.
Yep, and that time Paris did not have the flash, did not have the body slam. There's no way out, and finally Righteous gets the revenge. After 5 tries, we'll get the kill, and the Herald's getting popped at the top lane. That top lane will go down,
Whoa,
but at the same time, we're fight up.
Mollywops and Kazuha going at it. This Yone is going to get him low, but the Fated Seal and the Unstoppable Force, Mollywops with the Malphite manages to find the solo kill. Kazuha tried their best, but just the damage reduction on that Malphite, the Sigma Male Malphite move where you just stand still, take all of the aggro, and walk away and get the solo kill. That's exactly what Malphite is doing in solo queue, so you hate to see it.
Yeah, with the Iceborne Gauntlet, it's very easy to go 1v1 against the Yone, and we saw it right there. Mollywops is now pounding on that tier 1 turret in the bot lane. Righteous will try to, you know, defend that a little bit, but at the same time, the mid lane almost going down, top lane going down, and we are still at a 1.3k gold lead right now, so it's still anyone's game.
Yup, we can see that TE Genesis, they have a slight gold lead despite the kills. You know, going through, they have built a gold lead over for themselves, and so both teams just looking to sort of get any kind of small advantages they can, whether it be gold, whether it be XP, whether it be vision for this next dragon, because TE Genesis, this is really going to be the fight that determines if they have a path into this late game, at least a viable and realistic one, because if they lose this dragon, that's soul for the side of Hydra. And so we can see TE Genesis looking for something in the mid lane. Righteous taken relatively low here.
A little bit too eager right there for Righteous, because now Dragon's coming up, and he has 1/3 of his health.
Yeah, Righteous taken very low at a pivotal moment where you need your jungler, as he's gonna go into the jungle to sort of farm up, but he might be seen by that vision, that deep ward, and we can see Hydra looking to get a little bit, you know, scrappy. They're going into the side of TE Genesis looking for any sort of engage. They see Righteous Paris, and it will be seen as the cast comes through and Righteous gets blown up, and that will surely be a soul point for the side of Mythical Esports Hydra.
Yep, Genesis will just give that up. They don't have the jungler anymore. They'll decide to just opt to take this mid turret. But yeah, if you're Righteous there, you gotta be careful. You gotta use your flag to check, because you don't know who's gonna be in that bush. You have no vision. You're walking in blind. If you die, you know that's gonna be gone for free.
Yeah, for sure, and it is gone for free as Mythical Esports Hydra managed to pick it up. Soul point now, Mountain Soul point now here for Hydra, as this is arguably one of the best souls you can have on a team comp who just loves to come in. The shield and the bonus, you know, stats you get from it just allow you, as Aquarat taken in danger here, as the Cyclone will come through, and the Cyclone will finish him off. Aquarat has nowhere to go, but he also wastes the flash, so this Ziggs looking very vulnerable now without his primary escape tool. Has to be careful in these next minutes.
Yeah, he was a little bit too overextended. You have zero vision in the top side of your map. You know you just saw multiple members, as when JJ was trying to take the red buff, he was contested for it. So you know there's a possibility you're going to get collapsed on the mid lane, and that's exactly what happened.
Yup, and we can see the gold lead slightly shrinking here as Ranor has arrived here in the top lane. JJ pops the ultimate here, runs away, and we can see Hydra running for their lives. TP comes in, Fated Seal is ready, but the slow is so insane on the Gragas. Kazuha looking for any sort of damage, but will not be able to find it as, yeah, they just back away as soon as they see the TP. A very wise choice there from Mythical Esports Hydra, not to overextend their bounds like they did in game one.
Oh.
They've clearly learned as the Baron, strangely, is started up for TE Genesis. Righteous doesn't have the upgraded fight here, but Enders is in trouble. The Fated Seal goes wide, but the damage is still there. The Unstoppable Force to stop the Yone, but the fight is continuing. Cask will be dropped, and JJ might be caught out a little bit here, separated from the team. Mollywop's dealing a little bit of damage. The Death Sentence lands onto Illicit Raven, as Illicit Raven will be taken out. That is a kill over to Ranor, as it looks like Hydra looking to continue their assault. Aquarat is taken very low, but Mollywops might have overstepped his bounds here, but nothing will be had from it, as just one kill for the side of Hydra, finding Illicit Raven on that Nautilus and alone. And so, yeah, what looked to be potentially a big team fight just turns out to be one pick for the red team.
Yeah, it was one pick, but that was a very eager Baron start. Especially, they just ran over the Rift Scuttle, so they knew, Hydra knew that Genesis was going to attempt to start it. And that's exactly what happened. And Hydra said, no, you cannot take this, contested it, and unfortunately, it looks like Genesis kind of was a little bit too greedy at that point.
Yep, and JJ will be seen on that map there by the recalling.
We're back.
As they're going back on the Baron. They do not care, as it looks like JJ is in that bot lane looking to distract. Paris is literally right there in the top lane, but Hydra, Mythical Esports Hydra, they don't see it. The Baron is taken down to around 3k, and they're only now noticing Ender walking up, but that's a free Baron. Genesis, they managed to sneak that right under Mythical Esports Hydra.
Yeah, they decided, it's like, okay, it didn't work once, but you know what? It's gonna work this time, and it actually did. I'm surprised that wasn't sniffed out a little bit earlier, as only one person was showing on the map. You gotta expect something like that could happen, because obviously it just happened.
Yeah, and now this is really, you know, TE Genesis's time to try and push any sort of leads that they want to come through here. They are still ahead in gold, albeit by around 1k, so they can look for a fight here, as it looks like Kazuha got the memo as he's going in, I mean, as they're going in onto Paris. Paris taken very low, forced to flash away, but Ranor is here, uses the clone, no clone for him to go in on that engage, as Paris just looking for any sort of, you know, ability to slow down.
Oh,
but Kazuha goes in, flashes, and Paris will be taken down, and that's a kill going over to Kazuha Nakamura. This Yone is officially online.
Yep, and that'll be their first kill, but great hook onto Righteous, and uh-oh.
Yeah, oh looks no, like Kazuha Nakamura might be in trouble here, surrounded by two. Takes Ender very low, but all in all will be taken down, as the Death Sentence does land onto Righteous. Arsenal going in, the Super Mega Death Rocket goes barely wide, as Arsenal looking for more engage. The TP from JJ will come through. The Dredgeye manages to find Ranor. Ranor forced to run away, forced to get away, but it looks like Arsenal was caught in the middle, but no, it's actually Enders who will be shut down, but Arsenal will be soon to follow. The fight continues as Mollywopps is in the middle of three members. The flag and drag connects. Mollywopps has to run for his life, doesn't have flash, doesn't have the unstoppable force, and that will be a dead rock, as it looks like CE have found themselves a few picks. They lost their mid and their ADC, but they will be victorious. A 2 for 3 for CE Genesis, and they look to go for the dragon potentially.
Yeah, it's never Genesis, they just brought it on at that point. Now they're up 3.7k gold. They're looking for this dragon. They cannot let this soul go over to Hydra, but they felt right in control. The minute they got that Baron, they decided to push. They took the fights. We got the big pick from the Yone at top against Paris that just opened the map, and eventually everything fell into place. They were able to get a couple kills for themselves.
Yep, Super Mega Death Rocket going in onto the dragon, but the only thing it will give is a bit of a leash. Righteous in all chat saying thank you for the leash with a little heart, as Enders not able to find the steal this time, and that will be CE Genesis's first dragon, denying the soul away from Mythical Esports Hydra, and it looks like they've bought themselves a little bit more time and potentially an avenue back into this game.
Yeah, even though, you know, Aqua Rat's sitting at 1-4, these bombs are doing so much damage in these team fights. And, you know, eventually it's going to become more and more painful. The Seraphs was completed, now finishing the Zanya's next. So they're going to be able to try to go into stasis while the Unstoppable Force is being used by Mollywops.
Yup, and we can see that both teams are just kind of biding their time here. Kazuha, man, it's such a long name that it gets kind of annoying to pronounce after a while, but I'm doing my best, guys. Yeah, Kazuha here in that bot lane, forcing, you know, Hydra to potentially respawn. We can see Ranor and Paris in that bush, potentially looking to get the jump onto that Yone, but the Yone not overstepping their bounds, making sure that they aren't the ones to get engaged on. They don't have any vision, and so walking up here would be very ill-advised if I was CE Genesis, but it looks like in the mid lane, they have a wave that's formed, but Paris and Ranor, they're outside of vision. They're looking for any sort of engage, but CE Genesis, just based on their positioning, not letting them get anything, as we can see a little bit of a 1-3-1 developed just there as Kazuha and JJ were in that top lane, but the Flag and Drag does connect. Arsenal taken to half. Arsenal taken very low. Manages to maybe get away, but the bomb manages to finish him off as Aquarat manages to pick him up, but Righteous will die as well. But it looks like Ranor will also find a kill there as the bot lane, they're looking to get a little bit scrappy. Kazuha taken out there in that fight, got the members of Hydra very low, but just not enough here, as JJ looking to potentially be the next target. Illicit Raven and Aquarat are there to pretend. Yeah, Aquarat is very low.
Careful.
Yeah, has to be. Yeah, like you said, has to be careful, as Ranor looking for any sort of engage that he can put on. Has the blue pet, so can use that sort of movement speed to his advantage. But the bombs, the minefield will be dropped. The slows and the damage, as Hydra just looking for any sort of engage. Paris now has that cask. The TP is available, but the cask will find it, and it looks like Aquarat is going to be down and destroyed, as CE Genesis are running for their lives. Illicit Raven taken very low, forced to flash, gets the dredge line to the turret and will get away. It looks like Hydra have only managed to find themselves one, but I think the turret is going to be joining them on the pile.
Yeah, TE Genesis kind of overstepped right there. They kind of overstayed and they got punished for it. And now their tier 2 tower is going to be under siege. I believe they should be able to protect it, but we'll see.
Yeah, for sure. We can see Kazuha looking for any kind of damage that they can find onto the side of Hydra, but the Death Sentence will land. Kazuha looking to go in with the Fated Steel lands onto a lot, followed by a big Cataclysm. Mollywops going in, but it looks like Enders will be the target, followed by Arsenal. A double kill over to Righteous, and another kill follow as Paris gets taken down. Ranor taken ridiculously low, but will probably be joining them as a shutdown going over to Righteous. That's 3 kills over to the Jarvan, and CE Genesis are looking good in this game. A little shaky, but they're back and they're looking for the Baron.
I said overstayed, and there's another overstay right there. Right there, we had Ender sitting on 2.1k gold. So that's gold that could not be spent. That's gold that could not be used in the fight. And with a revamped TE Genesis that came from the fountain, they were able to come and clean up the fight, take their second Baron, and now they're looking at the dragon and probably the end of the game.
Yeah, for sure. If TE Genesis can manage to find themselves another fight and manage to deny Soul from Hydra yet again, this could very well be a match point for CE Genesis, as they are looking to be, you know, kind of the ones in control of this game. They have the gold lead by about 5k here in this game, as Arsenal looking for any kind of vision, but Righteous and the rest of the company are right there, and so he has to be careful, as Mollywops will spot them out. A ward dropped and pinged there from Hydra, as yeah, this mid lane just being taken down, but JJ might be the focus here. He's caught out alone. He's one.
Will they be able to kill JJ?
Can
Probably
he
not.
take out, can he resist 4
But
as
look what's happening
2
in
are
mid lane.
going in, but mid lane is another story. Mollywop's taken very low. The shutdown coming over onto JJ, but Mollywops will follow as mid lane is just the target. CE Genesis do not care. They are saying, screw the dragon. We're going straight for the base. We have the Ziggs, and it looks like Hydra, they're looking for any way to sort of stop this, but they're in the middle of the wave. The cask will drop. It will separate the members, but it might not matter as Paris taken down instantly. That Ranor might be the next target. The Cataclysm Ram
That's gonna be
goes on
game.
to Ender gets taken down, followed by Ranor, and it looks like Kazuha will be taken down by Ranor there on that last second. But it's 3 members of CE Live, and the only member left from Hydra is Arsenal on this Thresh. He's trying to pull the waves. He's trying to get the minions, trying to get their aggro, and it looks like it might honestly be working. This is Mollywops up in 2 seconds. Does not have the unstoppable force yet, but it looks like CE Genesis, they're looking for the end. They're hitting the Nexus. It's getting taken down to about half. The members are getting low. The Nexus continues to fall. A shutdown. That's 2 kills. Will Akrat be able to finish it? He will, and that is game 2 for CE Genesis.
I know you said CE Genesis, but it's TE Genesis, but
TE
they're at the
Genesis.
beginning of the alphabet at this point. 2-0 match point. It might have been a rough day for the Riot servers, but TE Genesis looking really, really strong as they ended the regular season strong and they brought in playoffs.
Yeah, an absolutely expertly crafted Baron sneak by TE Genesis. I got it right that time, Bully. Manages to find themselves the win as, yeah, Hydra just were not expecting that sneak. They were expecting to be able to get the soul, but you know, CE just managing to find themselves the wins, managing to find themselves to picks, and slowly but surely they got their gold lead to a point where they were just able to fight them straight on. And when it got to that point, it was all over. And it also looks like Bully might be out
I'm
a
here.
little bit. Oh, you're here?
Yeah, so that was a good
Yeah.
good match from TE Genesis. They were able to they fell back just a little bit. They had a little bit of overstays. It was definitely a closer match to the first game, but it felt like
Mhm.
once they got the hold on the game, they were able to hold on to it and use that lead, especially the Barons, to increase their gold and eventually win the game.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, once TE managed to get just a small little lead for themselves, they basically had a grip on the game and they never let go. And so, you know, Hydra are going to have to be very careful with how they draft here in this game 3, with how they play here in this game 3, because, you know, for all of you watching, you have to remember that this is officially round of 16. If you lose this best of 5, you're out. It's over. There's nothing left after that. And so, obviously, Hydra have to be feeling the pressure, have to be feeling the mental stress of being down 2 games to TE Genesis, as you know, that game really was in their hands. They really had it in the bag, especially in that early game. They had a few kills. They had 2 kills on that Jinx. They even got a Dragon Steal, but you know, TE just managed to claw them their way back into it. So Hydra have to look for, you know, another angle, have to, you know, reset their mentals for game 3, because it could be detrimental if they don't. And on top of that, it just feels like TE are just not able, or it feels like TE just at all times they're able to find advantages through the map. Even when they were behind in that early game, they had, you know, gold leads. They had 1K gold lead, and it never seemed like they were really behind. They lost fights, they lost picks, and they lost certain objectives, but at no point did it feel like they were the team that was truly ever behind, or at no point did they ever feel like they were out of the game, to say the very least.
I think a big thing is like at this point you got to ban the window. Um,
Mm-hmm.
JJ didn't really get ahead early in the game, but eventually 1 kill, 2 kill, and then a little bit more items, it became unkillable. And that's what really
Yeah.
brought in a lot of pressure for Hydra to try to make a play while JJ was roaming the map, doing a lot of damage with a hard steal. And even though Righteous didn't get off to a good start early, it, those Cataclysms did still do a lot of work in that uh, mid to late game. So I think you got to revamp your draft, decide what is important to ban, and try to, kind of adapt in this game 3.
Yeah, for sure. Adaptation really is the name of the game for Mythical Esports Hydra here, as yeah, like we said, they are down 2 games here, and match point has officially been set by TE Genesis. So we are going to go to a short little break. Hopefully it's shorter than the last break that we had. Bless Riot servers and hope that they let us start the games on time here. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. See you soon. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the BOL Gold League here. Match point set here for TE Genesis as Hydra Mythical Esports forced onto the back foot here as they are down 2 games, and so we're going to have to see what sort of draft adaptations, mental adaptations, and just overall changes they're going to have to make through this game 3 to sort of bite back, try and get some advantages on the board here in this series, because so far it just really seems TE Genesis favored.
The game 1 was a little bit more TE Genesis' favor, while game 2 was a little bit more close. I like some of the adaptations that Hydra made in game 2, but it was more of just like the overall team fighting and the macro decisions that they made that kind of caused their downfall in game 2. That big Baron play, they got to know that it's a possibility. They attempted it right before that happened, and it failed. So once you know that there's no one on the rift, you have to sniff it out that it's always going to be a possibility.
Yeah, for sure. And we can see TE Genesis here hovering that Zeri ban, probably going to go through as they don't want Ender on that hyper carry champion. Zeri, if you're good at the champion, is an absolute menace in the game. And it looks like, yeah, that ban will follow through here. And it looks like Hydra will follow suit and, ban away what they did last game, making sure that Olaf is an impossibility for TE Genesis to pick up. Olaf, obviously, ridiculously good in lane. Also has maybe a little bit of flex potential. Obviously, you don't really see Olafs in jungle that much anymore, more of a top lane pick, but there is always sort of that possibility, as it looks like Genesis are taking their time here on the bans, letting the timers run out, and that'll be another Lulu ban, and Hydra follow sweet by immediately banning away that Jarvan, making sure that it is denied away from Righteous here in this game 3. And like you were saying, they need to ban away this Mundo, and so do you think that's going to happen?
Well, I think they found out that Jarvan might be a little bit more of an issue, and maybe they have another pick that they want to play in the Mundo. But I wouldn't be surprised if Hydra bans out the Mundo this on R3.
Yep, and we can see the Cho'Gath banned away by TE Genesis here. They have the same 3 bans across the board on all 3 games, and it looks like Hydra are going to finish off their bans with another familiar Silas ban, not letting that go through like they did in the second game's draft, as both teams have opted to have, the same type of, side. Obviously, Hydra having red and TE having blue, and TE are going to use that blue side advantage to immediately lock in the Yuumi champion. Disgusting, as Hydra going to have to probably respond with bot lane picks here.
Yeah. I'm actually kind of interested what Hydra's gonna pick. Vayne? Insta-locked.
Yeah, Vayne insta-locked there by Hydra.
Wait, is that
making
a
sure.
flex at the top lane? Hold up. That could be a Vayne top flex. Who knows?
Yeah, it was buffed recently. A couple of patches ago, Vayne did get buffed in the top lane, so that definitely is a possibility, and it's good into tanks, obviously, with the silver bullets able to shred the armor, so definitely preparing for another potential Mundo runback, as it looks like TE Genesis are going to opt for a more, weak side oriented bot lane here as they lock in the Sivir. So Sivir, Yuumi obviously very able to play very safe, and once Yuumi finally does get those items under her belt, is able to just attach onto the carry that TE Genesis are eventually going to pick for themselves and just go absolutely crazy, as it looks like TE are going to run it back for the 3rd game in a row with the Dr. Mundo pick, actually picking it in phase 1, making sure that it can't get banned away here in phase 2. And so I have to think that Hydra were probably prepared for this.
Yeah, it was going to happen, right? It was 2 games in a row with the Mundos picked. Both did very well, and this 3rd game, you have to expect it to show up. I would expect it to show up in the first phase because the second phase bans are going to come up. The Udyr picked up for Hydra.
Yeah, Udyr being picked up for Hydra here. This is a jungler that Ranor does kind of enjoy, or not really, actually. I was actually thinking more of TE Genesis's jungler, but, this is definitely not an unfamiliar style of champion that Ranor has played in the past, enjoys playing those more tanky style junglers, and so Udyr is definitely sort of in that realm of class, and we can see both teams, sorry, couldn't find my words there, banning away the tops and the mid tier. Yone, Yasuo banned away by Hydra here, making sure that those two do not get picked up.
Yeah, definitely a different look on the draft for Hydra in this go around. And since the Shen was picked, obviously we won't see the Vayne top, I don't think. But so far,
Yeah.
I do like the Genesis. I think Genesis has like kind of like a comp they always have in mind. It seems very similar to one another, like their past team comps. For the only difference is usually the mid lane, where we saw first game Silas, second game Yone, third game Syndra. Definitely different comps, but in the jungle we see Righteous going for a aggressive gank heavy jungle, and this time picking up the Nocturne.
Yeah, for sure. And it is also worth noting that that paranoia does counter the stand united on the Shen, not able to, go to a target because you are nearsighted when that does occur. And it looks like Hydra are going to finish out their picks here with an Anivia pick of all champions. So it looks like both teams going for a little bit more unorthodox picks here in this game. Last game had pretty standard comps with champions that were relatively meta, but the comps in this game are all very unorthodox with champions that aren't usually picked in competitive play. So I'm interested to see how both of these teams sort of, play around the uniqueness of their picks.
Yeah, Hydra's gonna play around that Vayne. That Vayne's gonna be the big carry on this team. Of course, they have the Soraka, the Shen. They have a lot of protection, and if Vayne dies, then it's gonna be very difficult. But they do have the Nivea to be like kind of like a support mid lane DPS threat that can do a lot of damage. Has a lot of wave clear to keep extending these games to make sure that they don't lose in 20 minutes.
Yeah, and on the other end, we can see that Tenebris Esports have drafted for themselves what looks to be a bit of a dual comp here. They do have the potential to go in with things like their ultimates, like the Scatter the Weak, can allow for a little bit of engage. But on the other side of things, they also have a decent amount of poke, Mundo Cleavers, Sivir Qs, Nocturne Qs, even Yumi Qs. These are all abilities that can hit you from a long range and deal a lot of damage. So I have a feeling that Tenebris Esports, if they want to win this game to full efficiency, they're probably going to have to use those poke abilities, and then they'll probably be the ones to go in.
Yeah, honestly, like Hydra doesn't have that much engaged potential, right? So they'll be looking more of like a skirmishing type of comp. Obviously, we're going to see the Shen mostly in the side lane for with the Stand United. They just got to make sure that the possibility of Nocturne using the Paranoia before the Stand United is a big thing, and it would be a 5v4 fight for Genesis for a short duration of time before Shen is able to use that ultimate.
Yeah, it really is a matter of which one is, sort of faster on the draw in those fights. Because if the Shen manages to get that ult off before the Paranoia comes through, then Tenebris Esports gonna have a very difficult time bursting down whoever might be the target in their sights with that gigantic shield, to back it up. So we are going to take a short little pause here between games while both teams, load up, think of what to do in this game. Match point for the side of Tenebris Esports Genesis, and so we are going to decide, we are going to figure out if Tenebris Esports Genesis are a team to be feared coming into the playoffs, or if Mythical Esports Hydra can bite back in this game. So don't go anywhere, we'll be right back. Hello everybody and welcome back to Game 3 of the BOL Gold League round of 16 between TE Genesis and their counterparts. Down 2 games now, Mythical Esports Hydra. This is now a match point game with TE looking for a little bit, fishing for a little bit here in the game 1 as the Yumi missile actually goes wide, but the Mundo has those cleavers, is looking to chase down, looking to be ridiculously low. Ignite on the wrong person and no kills will come over here. TE Genesis looking for that Udyr but will not be able to find it, but they do manage to put on and apply the pressure that they wanted to with that invade regardless.
Yeah, but Rainer will be able to get back to their camp. Nothing really lost. It'll just be a few seconds late. But Ignite going down for Alyssa Raven. No other subs burned, unfortunately. I think a skill shot missed, and Righteous is actually trying to invade right here.
Righteous going in for the chickens here, but will be stopped by this. Anivia will be seen, but that's 3 members of Hydra here to collapse and manages to get the camp, flashes away, but 2 flashes to follow, and first blood going over to Mythical Esports Hydra.
A little bit aggressive to go for the enemy chickens as a Nocturne at level 1, knowing there's a possibility you'll be spotted out because Rainer had the back. I guess they assumed that Udyr was gonna start in the blue buff, but if we seen anything in this whole series is that top side of the map start is been very popular.
Yep, I definitely agree with that. Top side of the map is basically where they've started both of these games, and so you gotta respect where that starting path would be. And it's also well known that, you know, both junglers are not above being able to start here, you know, leashless, and so it really is risky going in for those Raptors after, you know, the Anivia roamed up. That's kind of just the point when I think you leave, as we can see Kaz getting a little bit of damage off here onto Molly. Will be taken very low, but does have that egg. The egg will be popped, and that is going to be a lot of damage. The E will come out, but no kill to be found in that mid lane.
Yeah, Scout of the Week does hit, but does get the passive of Anivia, which is really big, but without having a lot of kill pressure right now, they don't have Ignite. Kaz doesn't have Ignite, has a Ghost, so they should be able to shove this in. Molly will probably have to back pretty soon, and we'll just use the TB to get back in the lane.
Yep, for sure. And Molly just trying to sort of, you know, clear the wave so that they don't miss any you know, minions. But Ender's, yeah, Ender's a little too far up there, takes a little bit of damage, forced to pop a pot. The Q from Yumi takes a little bit of health away, but Ranor is here, and we can see Ender's going in. The E from Ranor has been procced. He's running up, flash away from Aquarat will dispel the gank here, but yeah, that's a flashless Sivir. There are no other escapes there for that bot lane, so Aquarat and Illicit Raven
needs
have
to be a little bit careful
here.
right here, as Rainer is going behind the Syndra.
Yeah, Kaz is the next target as Raynor pops the E and will be unstoppable. Kaz forced to flash out there. Raynor all around the maps, burning flashes on this Udyr, setting his team up for success. This is a very good show of early Udyr ganks.
I will say Molly also used their flash, which means that as a flashless Anivia with no passive, you're pretty much primed to be killed in the mid lane.
Yeah, for sure. Neither mid laner having either flashes here, as both junglers looking to probably opt to go aggressive.
Uh-oh, look what's happening in mid lane again.
In that mid lane. Yup, he is in that mid lane again. The E has been there. The stun has gone through. The next stun goes wide as the Scatter of the Week gets Ranor away, but the wall has been dropped. Righteous cannot help, as that'll be another kill going over to Ranor. Now 2-0 on this Udyr, but might be in trouble here. Righteous is going to chase. There's no flash onto Ranor. He gets hit, gets the Q off. The fear is landed, and a shutdown over to Righteous as Mollywops does not have the mana to chase, and that'll just be a quick kill going over to the Nocturne.
Yeah, able to get back a revenge kill right there.
Kaz was a little bit too overextended, knowing that they don't have vision in the top side of bot side of the river. So it was a very easy, just a regank from Raynor, to get that kill on a flashless and basically a mobile, mid laner.
Yup, for sure. And we can see both top laners. This has basically been the story all game where they just continue to trade with each other, continue to get a little bit of damage onto each other. But Paris in this game does have that bone plating available, so a little bit of the damage from those concussive blow procs will be mitigated here.
Look at
So
the CS lead.
Paris, yeah, again, the CS lead. JJ has just been an absolute monster when it comes to CSing properly. 48 CS at basically 6 minutes here into the game as, yeah, Marty taken a little bit low as he walks up on that Soraka. Has to be careful here. Righteous is in the area and so is Ranor. Could see a 3v3 fight. Ranor pops the plant. Aquarat running away, baiting, but that is Ranor is going in deep. The Condemn manages to get Righteous off of the backline, but the Stand United from Paris on the last second doesn't find anything with the taunt, and Paris saves his teammate, but not able to find a single kill as, yeah, both teams looking for kills, but no one able to find anything.
Yeah, the flash was barely still on cooldown. It just came up for Paris, so the flash taunt wasn't there for them. And they will have to actually TP back the top lane to make sure they don't miss any CS.
Yup, and we can see that the bot laners are, you know, kind of limping here. We can see Aquarat probably going to clear this wave before getting another eventual recall here. And it is also worth noting that Ender has opted for the Cull here in this early game. Nothing like a Doran's Ring or a Doran's Shield or nothing like that, but actually just a Cull opting to, you know, play for that late game. Make sure that you can get that gold spike once you get the proper minions here. And both these ADCs have actually been CSing incredibly well here, both tied at around, yeah, exactly tied actually at 57 here. You know, we just saw Ender get that 58, but he is going to be going for that Cull and insurance for the late game.
Yeah. In the mid lane, Molly is out of mana, so they won't be able to use their just the Infinite Wave clear Glacial Storm a lot. But right now, both mid laners still flashless. Nothing big happening. It looks like both junglers has opted not to go back mid lane, even though both mid laners are flashless.
Yup, and we can see Righteous has not yet gotten a reset off here in this game, so really looking for that level 6 or, you know, any sort of item spike before taking that reset. Will probably take the blue, and then I can't imagine he'll stay on the map after that. Herald is up, but probably not ripe and prime for taking as, yeah, we can see Aquarat going in for a little bit of a trade. Marty taken a little bit below half here as, yeah, Renner will be spotted on the vision. The ultimate coming from Cavs will not be enough to finish the Udyr off, but still taken ridiculously low and delayed the recall. Now I think Righteous, as I say he won't take the Herald, is going on that Herald.
I mean, you see the enemy jungler just get chunked for more than 80% of their health. That's pretty much free Herald take, especially when you got this top lane priority. Mollywops just did come back to mid lane, but with this top lane priority, jungler having to recall, this should be a free objective.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see how the side of Mythical Esports Hydra will respond to something like that Herald being taken, because we can see Ranor, he is in that bot side, so I assume that once he sees that, you know, being taken, he might opt for something like a dragon. We can see that the bot lane of CE Genesis, they have reset, and so wouldn't be surprised to see that Udyr just go straight for the dragon now.
Yeah, I think Rainer's a little bit scared because Rainer should know that Righteous is level 6. Rainer just hit level 6 themselves. Righteous came back with both a Dirk and a Caulfield, so they're actually very strong. They can do a lot of damage.
Yeah, for sure. Righteous now just trying to unlock that damage. I'm not sure if I agree with what is probably going to be a Duskblade build here in this game, that full assassination on this Nocturne. Usually in competitive, you want more sustain, you want more ability to continue on with the fights, and so I expected to see, you know, maybe a different mythic. There are a lot of different mythics that you can go on the Nocturne, but that attempt to take the dragon, you just said that Ranor attempted to take it, but he was collapsed on, and so a dragon going the way of TE Genesis, and they managed to find a Dragon and a Herald very early on in this game.
Yeah, especially with this build that Righteous is going, I usually expect to see a like Hydra and like Iceborne Gauntlet, but I wonder what they're gonna choose to do.
Yeah, for sure. And we can see both
The
top
lethal tempo
laners taken
especially.
incredibly low. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. But both top laners taken incredibly low here. Paris going on for the reset. Ranor is here, and we can see he's looking for a potential, top lane kill. The ultimate from Mundo
needs
is
to know.
not yet
Oh
up.
my
He's
God.
going up. Paris is literally 1 HP, has the flash available. The wish has come through from Marty, so I don't imagine that will be a kill. Flash into taunt. JJ flashes away. He's running for his life. The stun will come through. Raynor looking to get the kill, but Paris will be the one to pick it up as Akarat on the other side of the map. He is in trouble. The silver bolts are coming through. Akarat taken very low. Will be taken down as Enders manages to get a kill here, but the R from the Nocturne will come through, but the Stand United does too, but it will not matter. A double kill coming in for Kaz at the last second. Scatter the weak finds too, and that'll be a Herald drop for the side of TE Genesis.
That was a big scout of the week. Getting those kills on the Kaz is absolutely massive, especially when you know the Syndra is going to continue scaling. A lot of gold going over both Righteous and Kaz. They're going to be able to take multiple plates up top. They're sitting with a 400 gold lead in top lane. Unfortunately for Aquarat, they did go down to bottom lane to Enders. Enders is now 1-0 with the 27 CS lead.
Yup, and we can see the TP coming in from Mollywops there to make sure and save that turret with that Anivia wave clear. And that's something that TE Genesis have to be cautious of and careful of in this late game. The wave clear from Anivia, from that ultimate, from that storm, is not something to slouch over. It's not something to scoff over. And so I would expect TE Genesis, they're no strangers to taking early Barons, but I feel like if they want to push out the game, if they want to end this game early like they have been these past 2 games in this series, they're going to have to go for an early game Dragon.
Yeah,
I mean Baron.
The only problem with that is that the possibility of just getting absolutely wiped by a Vayne. Right? So
yeah, for sure.
It's gonna be if they're after game 2, you know that Hydra's gonna be on edge, knowing that it's always gonna be a possibility. And so sneaking a Baron could just be their downfall.
Oh, hang on. Enders is going in. The Silver Bolts are connecting Akarat, looking for any sort of thing that he can find as the ultimate from Yuumi will be dropped, but it will not matter. Akarat completely taken down as, Illicit Raven to follow here, but on the other side of the map, JJ looking for any kind of damage on the turret. He wants that tier 1. He has that Heartsteel completed, so the damage will start to come through. Paris taking a little bit of damage. The cleaver and the autos from that empowered, grasp plus Heartsteel proc is really starting to deal some damage, but Paris trying to dissuade him from pushing in that wave, trying to hold it while he can, as there's a little bit of tension here in this top lane. The top turret taken very low, and Paris forced onto this defense.
Yeah, in the bot lane, Aquaret needs to play a little bit more defensive. The whole river was completely dark, knowing that a Udyr can run at you. And just giving up a Vayne, knowing the rest of the map is doing extremely well, you should always just play safe, making sure you don't make this game harder than it has to be.
Yup, for sure. And it looks like the unlocked the unleashed TPs will be available for both top laners now. This is a huge advantage for JJ, as Paris already sort of has the TP that he needs with that Stand United in tow. And so JJ now able to make those plays, but Ranor has arrived here in the top lane. Ultimate not available for
Paranoia
JJ, as
is
it
up
looks
right
like
now.
he's going to be rained down. Paranoia is available, like you just said, and Paris taken very low, will be killed as Ranor will be next, and a double kill over to Righteous.
And that's the beauty of Nocturne being the best counter ganker there is. The Paranoia comes through, was able to pick up 2 kills from himself. They'll be able to pick up the first tower in the top lane. The gold lead is swinging in their favor, as it's a 1.9k. Well, now it's a 1. It's a little bit more than that now. But a lot of gold going over to both JJ and Righteous. Righteous now sitting at 3-1 with a completed Dustblade.
Yup, we can see that top turret has been taken now. JJ does not quite have access to that unleashed TP yet, as it is still on cooldown. And so this next dragon, he's going to have to manually recall for, but that Stand United is available for Paris, so could very well see a team fight here. But Paris has to be careful with who he ults and when he ults, most importantly, because JJ is no slouch to just playing in the side lane. You have to know what you're giving up if you know what you're going to be getting into here, as the dragon has been started up by Mythical Esports Hydra. Yeah, Righteous isn't here in the area, so I assume that this is just going to be a dragon, the first one here for Mythical Esports Hydra, as they manage to get themselves a Cloud Drake.
Without positioning in the pit, without the TPs, you know it's probably a bad fight to take. And
holy moly, Mollywops
So
was
close.
about to die there, but
Hey, they got passive.
Well, yeah, he had passive, but Marty, I'm scared, managed to, you know, save him with that last second wish, as, yeah, good timing there from the Soraka, manages to save the passive, and overall, yeah, good reaction time.
Yeah, but now you can see Aquaret. It's playing a little bit more passive. They don't want to give up more kills to the Vayne, and Vayne is getting extremely strong. Now up 28 CS, but look at the top side. 152 CS to 102 for JJ. JJ is now putting on a clinic, as they're sitting at 0, 1, and 2, but they're doing so much damage right now. So tanky.
Yup. Yup, and we can see that Herald is up, and JJ has started it, as Naz looking for a little bit of damage. Scout of the Week will not find Mollywops, but yeah, Mollywops has to be careful here. If they go into Egg when not in turret range, that'll probably be just a kill over to Kaz here, as they do have the Ludens completed, and so the burst and the damage from the Syndra is not something to slouch over, as Herald will be secured by TE Genesis, just getting those advantages around the map. Stun manages to land. Mollywops taking a little bit of damage. Scout of the Week will find it, but the paranoia is coming in. Will not find the intended target, as they were already dead, but yeah, Mollywops taken very low, but Ranner wants a piece of Righteous. The Stand United coming through, as Paris E-Flash manages to get the shutdown onto Kaz, and Righteous is the next one. They are under tower, but it will not matter, and Ranor gets a shutdown.
That's a lot of gold going over the Raynor. That's a plus 400 to Raynor plus on top of the kill, and mid lane is also going to go down. So another gold swing, but this time going over the Hydra. They will be only a 900 gold deficit to Genesis right now.
Yup, and the TP coming in from Paris to defend that top turret. JJ has just been putting on so much pressure here in the top lane, and Ranor might have been found out here. Aquarat getting the poke onto him, and yeah, Ranor will be just caught out in the enemy's jungle, and a free kill over to Aquarat here. This Sivir officially is on the board.
Yeah, that was just a hand me down right there, because Aquaret just was actually rotating.
Oh, hang on a minute. JJ with the TP. Ender's forced to pop the R. JJ looking for the kill. These silver villains are doing so much damage, and the sustain from Marty. JJ, what have you gotten yourself into, as Righteous is here to join the fight? Aquarat is here to follow. Enders might be in trouble here. He's followed, and he's, you know, surrounded by all the members of TE Genesis, and a shutdown going over to Kaz. That's exactly where you want the gold to be, and this Vayne has finally been stopped.
That was a lot of members of Genesis. They wanted their revenge kills, and they got it. This time, they'll put the Herald in the bot side of the map to try to get this.
Oh, hang on. Yeah,
don't get it.
Oh, nope. Ranor and Molly managing to find that base defense with the Storm coming in handy to clear those waves. Herald has been taken down, but this turret is literally at 1 HP. Righteous will be seen by the sweep, or Ranor might be looking to get a little bit scrappy here for a fight. But yeah, Righteous will just back off, as Aquarat just saying screw it, no wave, doesn't matter, and manages to find the bot turret. The Sivir managing to find a little bit of, you know, security here in this mid game, trying to, you know, recover from that rough early game and just be very useful to the team later on, as this dragon is around a minute from spawning. That Sivir ultimate will definitely come in handy, and I'm glad that Aquarat has finally found his way into this game.
Yeah, and you know, that gold lead was only about 900
gold lead for Genesis, but now has, of course, swung to a 3.5k gold lead after that massive play on the bot side. They were able to get the tier 1 turrets, all of them, and now with the Dragon coming up, they're going to probably set their sights on that, or even probably look for the Baron that they'd love to try to sneak.
Yeah, I mean, after last game, you really can never discount or you know, count out that the Baron might be what TE Genesis have their eyes on here. As we can see, JJ, Aquarat, and Illicit Raven. You can never really forget that Yuumi, even though they're not really visible. You can never really forget that they exist. But hang on, the paranoia coming through, the flash to follow. Mollywops trying to get away, will drop the wall, but it might not matter. Mollywops taken very low, but a wish. Oh my gosh, stand united. Mollywops manages to live, but will be taken down. Paris now in the middle of all of the members of TE Genesis. A double kill going over to Kaz. They might be looking for more. The On the Hunt has been procced for all members. Ranor manages to find the kill, followed by Righteous. JJ manages to find that kill, and it will be an ace for TE Genesis. 21 minutes into this game, and a dragon for them as well, and they might even look for the Baron.
Two major ultimates are there to try to save Molly, but in the end, Molly still goes down, and the fight just kept happening. One by one, they fell. Paris came in and tried to save their teammate. They died, and then everyone else just got collapsed on, especially with the On the Hunt that helped the entire TE Genesis team chase down Hydra.
Yup, and it looks like TE Genesis, they managed to get themselves the Drake. Righteous soloing that Drake, but now the rest of TE Genesis, they're on the Baron, but there's no contest. The Hex Gates are up, but you can see that Mythical Esports Hydra, they know they're probably on it, but they just can't contest. They're too far behind here, and it looks like TE, they're looking to win Game 3. They're looking to get a clean sweep onto Mythical Esports Hydra in super convincing fashion, too.
Yeah, and right there is no hesitation. What was going to happen? Righteous was going to take the Dragon, the rest of the team go to the Baron. They were able to secure both very easily, very clean. And now we saw what happened in Game 1 and 2 when TE Genesis got the Baron. We're probably going to see a repeat, and maybe this is going to be the final game.
Oh, hang on. Paranoia coming in through. Marty is the target, but will flash away. Sees Molly there and runs away. Righteous managing to get a flash and a heal burn from the support of Mythical Esports Hydra, but nothing else. And it is also worth noting that, yeah, Righteous does have access to the Axiom Arc, so using that ultimate for, you know, purposes like trying to solo kill the support really is just an option, as it's almost halfway down on its cooldown.
And that doesn't mention that Soraka did have to use the flash and the heal to get away to safety.
Yeah, for sure. And you can see JJ just going in this bot lane. Enders is the one to respond. Enders had such a good early advantage here on this Vayne, but just that collapse from TE Genesis really sealed the doom. And yeah, now their game has become ridiculously difficult, as we can see Mollywops managing to clear these waves quite nicely, avoiding any sort of poke from Aquarat. But as I say that, Aquarat is going in. The Paranoia has come through, and it looks like Marty is again the target. Marty just being bullied by Righteous here in this Game 3.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a Soraka on the team and there's a Nocturne on the other one, you know what's going to happen. The Paranoia used to kill Marty, and unfortunately, if you're Enders, you don't have enough damage at the point to try to 1v2 that fight.
Naz will see Paris here, but nothing will come of it. A little bit of damage coming down, but yeah, Paris now has those Merc Treads, has that, you know, magic resist in tow, and so Kaz not able to do nearly as much damage, but does have that Shadow Flame, so a little bit of pen coming in through, but the TP coming in for Molly to defend the base here. These Baron and Power minions, even in the face of stuff like that, is no match for the ultimate, but yeah, holy moly,
Welcome back to lane, Molly.
Taken, yeah. Mollywops taken ridiculously low. Has to respect the poke from Kaz here, as the Syndra has been dealing so much damage here in Game 3, as JJ just distracting, but the Paranoia will come through. Enders is the target, and Enders blown up immediately, not able to even react here, as Another kill coming through for TE Genesis as they're setting their sights on the mid-tier 2, and holy moly, Kaz deletes Marty for another kill. Now 7-2-1 on this Syndra, and it looks like TE are just strangling Mythical Esports Hydra. Mythical Esports Hydra, they can't do anything as Molly is in the base getting dove under the tower. The Stand United does come through. Kaz is taken ridiculously low, is being chased, is in the middle of the turret. A shutdown coming in for Paris, but the rest of TE Genesis are here to follow. The turret is low, the turret will fall, and it looks like we will just walk away. Kaz going in a little bit too aggressive there, not accounting for that stopwatch and ultimately paying for it with his life. But all in all, TE Genesis still very much in control of this game.
Yeah, what TE Genesis is doing is splitting up the entire...
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
Wait a minute.
Righteous. Oh, hang on. Ranor is not done yet. He wants the kill. Righteous is the target, but Aquarat and Listed Raven are right there. The paranoia comes through. The kills go through. Righteous gets the kill, but followed up by a death of his own as Aquarat is the target. Enders dealing so much damage. Illicit Raven will follow the TP coming in for JJ, but you're in the middle of 3, my friend, as he is running for his life. Probably going to flash over the wall. Yes, forced to flash over the wall, but a dragon will be spawning soon. Mythical Esports Hydra managed to find some kills into their pocket thanks to Ranor for his sacrifice, but we can see Kaz looking for something here. Will be seen on Vision, but Paris isn't sure if he wants to go in on that. Kaz, even though did just die, is still very strong here in this game, so you've got to still respect that Syndra damage.
Yeah, Kaz actually just went back, picked up the Rabadon's death cap. If you thought they had nutty damage before, think again. Right now, they're gonna one-shot anyone that steps near them.
Yup, and it looks like the dragon has been started up by Mollywops. Keep in mind, this is going to potentially be soul point for TE. They're on the other side. Righteous does have access to that paranoia. Will use it. Will get the steal! Holy moly! But the rest of TE might be in trouble. Kaz taking so much damage. A double kill going over to Enders. But JJ is caught in the middle. These silver bolts bursting him down. And he will not be taken out. The Yuumi manages to save him. The Stand United coming in for Enders. All of the members from Mythical are taken low, but it looks like it's just going to be a clean up, a double kill going over to JJ, and Enders will be taken down. Ultimately, a winning fight for TE, managing to find the steal, followed up by several kills as Mollywops, the only one left standing, and JJ and Illicit Raven marching into the base looking for this inhibitor potentially, but JJ is still very low, and you got to keep in mind, Yuumi no longer refunds health, but instead gives you a shield, so you cannot take that for granted. You have to make sure you're careful and know that you have only a temporary defense instead of a permanent defense like a shield.
That was almost disastrous for TE Genesis on that dragon fight, but in the end, JJ was able to survive with a sliver of health, allowing Aquarat and Illicit Raven to make it to the fight and start doing a ton of damage. If JJ fell before they were able to make it there, I think that would have been a full ace, and we could have seen a comeback starting to form.
Yeah, but we can see the side of Mythical Esports Hydra. They are here. Ranor does want to challenge. The Scatter of the Week actually does miss, but holy moly, 1W takes Marty to about half HP on this Soraka. Kaz is doing so much damage here on this Syndra, and really the next question, the question on all 10 players' minds is about the Baron. Which team is going to start it and when? And so Mythical Esports Hydra clearing out the mid-waves. There is a very well-placed ward that will see the members of them, but yeah, that'll just be, you know, them clearing out the mid-wave, but we can see the pings, we can see the formations coming in. They're looking to get this Baron. They've started it up. Ranor is not sparing any expense. He's going straight for that Baron as Aquarat is the target. Enders going in, but will not be able to find anything. A flash ghost by Aquarat will get him out. Ranor is in the middle looking for anything. The Baron will reset. The Stand United, yeah, like you just said, is ready to be used. Kaz is taken to about half, but does not have any sort of stopwatch available, but the ultimate from Yuumi has been dropped. JJ will have that Yuumi attached to him. There's just both teams looking for any kind of poke that they can get onto the other, as it really just is going to come down to which person steps up too far, as the Cleaver manages to find Marty, forced to flash away. Ranor is the target, but he will get away with the empowered E, as Paris forced to use that ultimate now, as the poke, this is what we mentioned in draft, the poke from TE is really starting to come in handy here for softening up Hydra, as that is going to be an engage from Righteous, manages to blow up Marty, but will fall himself, as JJ looking to lead the charge. Enders gets blown up! Ranor limping, Ranor forced to go away, and Mollywops might be the next one taken to 1 HP, but Paris manages to find the overextended Aquarat, as the members of TE are looking for anything more. Ranor has around 2/3 HP here now, managed to get back to the base and regen a little bit of that, but they'll manage to find the inhib, and it looks like they're just going to walk away here pretty happy. They managed to get Enders, they managed to get Marty, and they managed to get the inhib, so TE Genesis, again, walking away with an advantage.
Yeah, overall that was a 2 for 2, but the inhib taking down, that's going to open up the map a little bit more, as someone needs to defend the base, as these super minions will be basically crashing the turrets. Dragon is coming up in about 1 minute. Baron is up. There's a lot of neutral objectives on the table. This Dragon would be soul for TE Genesis, so I would expect a fight to break out right here, as we see Kaz trying to get some vision control in this pit.
On the other end, we could potentially see Mythical Esports Hydra. Maybe they look for something like a Baron, maybe they look for something like a trade, but TE Genesis, they really burn down objectives quickly with things like the Sivir, but Ranor will spot out Righteous here. The Scatter of the Weak manages to find the Udyr, but oh no, Ranor taken very low, and Mollywops in the middle of all of them. JJ on the side there, the Paranoia has been dropped. Enders manages to find Righteous. The ultimate from Kaz manages to take out the Vayne, and that's the main damage gone. And the Stand United will go on, but the shield is temporary. Everything about Mythical Esports Hydra is temporary. They will find the last kill, the kill to seal the fate of Mythical Esports Hydra, as it looks like TE Genesis, the remaining members, they're going to march down. They don't care. They have continued to destroy game after game. This series has been in their control almost the whole time, and they will be looking to move on to the quarter finals.
Yeah, and TE Genesis have been playing very well as a team. They made a lot of coordinated plays that I didn't expect to see in a lot of gold teams. At the beginning of the season, I think they're a little bit shaky. They lost to a lot of games, but towards the end of the season, they got a little bit better and better and better. And now we see the playoff TE Genesis, and they look unstoppable. That 4-3 record in regular season doesn't mean anything now. Everyone's on a clean slate, but TE Genesis is looking like straight up title contenders with how they played tonight.
Yeah, TE Genesis played an incredible series, followed on the backs of basically every single member playing well. Every member of the side of TE Genesis had like a standout play in that series. JJ just in lane being so unbelievably dominant in that, followed by Righteous in that game 1 and in that game 3, following key engages with those cataclysms and you know, with those paranoias, just going in, sometimes even sacrificing his life for it. So I gotta give props to all the members of TE Genesis. They played their hearts out today, and it really paid off. And unfortunately for the side of Mythical Esports Hydra, their run ends here. They had a few bright spots of light in that series, specifically in game 2. They managed to find a lot of advantages there, but just were not able to follow through on any of it, and so their run ends here.
Yeah, and it was very fun watching Mythical Esports Hydra this season, and they definitely look like a very strong team, but in the end, I feel like TE Genesis just came in ready to go.
Yeah, for sure. And so that is going to be the series from TE Genesis, a 3-0 over Mythical Esports Hydra. I want to thank everyone who is currently watching. This was an incredible series, not only to cast, but it also took quite a long time due to Riot client issues. And so thank you for sticking with us through the pauses, through the delays, and through my constant stuttering. So thank you all for watching. We'll see you again for the quarterfinals. Till next time, peace.